Yeah, come on. Yo, that's that spooky shit, that real, that's right. That GMSONIC shit. Hey yo, Mr. Clean. Shout out to Dracula Presley, Corbin, Johnny Slash on the beat. Hey yo. Yo, it's the GMSONIC show. Phantom opera flow, permissionless, immutable, unstoppable, spectacular. Gather with Corville and Dracula. Abracadabra, flip shit like a spatula. Few Andre Stan, the master of memes. DeFi king, half man, half virtual machine. No other team can match the collective expertise. No other chain can achieve the supersonic speeds. Home of the most creative tech. What's your favorite decks? Spooky swap, equalizer, Beethoven next. And when I place my bet, I never break a sweat. Worship the open source code like sacred text. Rest assured, battle tested and ready for war. I check the bribes, cast the vote and collect the rewards. Knock at the door, trick or treat. Move like a zombie, but usually I stay cooler than Fonzie. I get surgical with this, call me Dr. Doom. Break the sound barrier, hit you with a sonic boom. We got it wrapped like a mummy in a tomb. It's about time we address the elephant in the room. It's called Sonic. Yo, what's the new hot topic? GMSONIC. Straight up alpha, you can get it if you watch it. GMSONIC. Yo, what's the new hot topic? GMSONIC. Straight up alpha, you can get it if you watch it. Yo, since the Genesis block, consensus didn't stop. Innovating since day one and never missed the plot. I'm just a humble yield farmer, tending these crops like a routine. See you at the next epoch. Ayo, the DeFi Renaissance, yeah, we were part of that. Your favorite dap, Phantom is where it started at. Go to Paint Swap and cop an ancient artifact. Let's run it back so we can 20x the market cap. FTM's the pre-sale, S is the ticker. It's best to zoom out so you can see the bigger picture. Brand new tech, brand new insignia. No trivia, we stacking more chips than Nvidia. Graduated from Halloween to a sonic theme. The dead chain resurrected, make you wanna scream. Due diligence, follow the new primitives. Controlled by the citizens, built to move billions. Your mass adoption, that's the only option. We ain't stopping till we locked in the top 10. Who got the best community? Who got the most promise? Who got the most pumponomics? Phantom and now Sonic. Yo, what's the new hot topic? GMSONIC. Straight up alpha, you can get it if you watch it. GMSONIC. Yo, what's the new hot topic? GMSONIC. Straight up alpha, you can get it if you watch it.
Call anonymously. You call anonymously! They know me. They know my voice. They'll know me. Please, you gotta do it for me.
Previous bull markets topped within 18 months of Bitcoin halving. We're at 16 months. The clock is ticking. Will history repeat, or is the death of the 4-year cycle finally here? If you're a traditionalist, now is the time to exit and take profit on core positions. Why is this time different? We finally have the pieces. Crypto-friendly administration, Bitcoin ETF, multiple ETFs rolling out, capital flows from top to speculative assets. We've yet to see true alt season like previous cycles. I believe we're in a cycle that will break the traditional 4-year mold, an extended bull market going higher for longer. Welcome to the super cycle.
hold on. My man got on them. Da 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 da. Now there used to be a Graying Tower alone on the sea until he became.
Sunset 太陽が沈んでいきます。君も今沈んでるって言ったよね。ふざけんじゃねえよ。この太陽と君の気持ちは違うぞ。太陽はね、今から一度沈んで新たな思いでやってくるから沈んでいくんじゃねえか。沈んだままだろ君は。起き上がらなきゃ大丈夫。なぜなら君は太陽だから。
Damn, life's so short. Fuck it, I don't wanna go to court. Fuck it, got a budget for the lawyer though. Fuck it, I'm on the run for the month. Woo!
Come on! What's his name? I can't hear. What's his name? Hosanna! Forever! We love you! Hosanna! We praise you! Hosanna! You're worthy! Hosanna! You're worthy! Hosanna! We love you! We love you!
Hey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, everyone. What are you all doing today? GMSONIC time.
Man, I was playing that video because it had like 3 or 4 pseudo inspirational kind of clips in it, and gotta say it made me feel absolutely nothing. So that's
You're
unfortunate.
numb,
Yeah, I'm numb. I thought it was gonna move me, especially the one where he was talking about, you're the sun too, and you're gonna rise again.
We need new tricks, dude. We need new tricks to bring the energy back. I was gonna ask because I was looking at this right before the show. So, like, do you think, where do you think you are on this chart? As your psychologist, where are you on this chart emotionally? Let's get to the bottom of this. Kirk Franklin fans, Kirk Cameron, Kirk Franklin, whatever.
This one's really tough right now. I would have said before October 10th, thank you, CZ. I would have probably said we were maybe like in belief area. Now I don't know where we are on this chart. I see you have a box. Yeah, depression. No, and there's a box around anxiety and denial. Yeah, like I said, I think I would have been around belief area. I think I was, honestly, I still think that I don't think we're done, you know what I mean? I think that Yankee says denial, so yeah, maybe I'm currently in denial.
Oh yeah.
But I got a little hopium on the charts. I mean, I got some things I can show everybody to
So
maybe
you've been cooking up some hopium for us, dude. Like
I've been cooking up a little hopium. I guess I'll toss it up here real fast. I got a few things we can go over.
Hey,
first of all,
if you want them on the show, you got to tag them on the stream, dude, and you got to retweet and like everyone. If you want Andre, you got to tag him in the stream comments.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Tag him on every episode, all episode.
Yeah, go back to our comments and tag him in all the episodes too.
Bless says the hedgehogs are staying safe. I don't know, man. I kind of want a wellness check on the hedgehogs. Let's make sure.
If we can get a live feed of the hedgehogs, we could definitely throw that up here as like another camera on our stream. So
that would be nice. Yeah, we could find a way to a little hedgy cross promotion. You know, we'll have the hedgehog cam, make everybody feel good. You know,
Yeah.
give your heart a little tingle, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Get people used to the hedgehogs before we start racing them. Because if things keep going this way,
Yeah, if anything, you need to be like feeding them and getting ready to race.
Yeah.
I think I could see a new vertical for the chain.
Sonic, the Yankee room. Sonic is 11 months old today. Will have anything planned for its 1-year anniversary?
I had a joke, but I'm not gonna say it. So,
what do you get a 1-year-old? I don't have a baby. What do you get a 1-year-old? Like
at the 1-year anniversary, there's going to be like a battle royale style. Everyone gets dumped on an island, and we sort out who's in charge, who runs the chain now.
We'll take the top 10 butters and we'll take the top 10 labs employees. We'll drop them on an island and it'll just be battle royale.
I think that's a decent idea. You know, stream the whole thing. Have live gambling on odds and stuff while it's happening. You know, probably take a few days. That's a few days of excitement for, like, you know, December, usually a more quiet time.
The hell of a Christmas gift, you know. All right, let's get to the hopium. You know, I've been stretching. I want to hear it.
I'll move quick. All right, like I shared this in the GMSONIC TG. We do have a bit of a pattern here. You know, we always look at the super high time frame on Bitcoin, the weekly. Like I've said before, that's kind of what I use to determine my overall market outlook. So my bit of hopium here is the red line here is the baseline, sometimes referred to as the magnet on the Ichi, because they call it the magnet because usually no matter what, it's going to end up coming back to it. So going as far back as October 2023, which is where I said, okay, I think we're exiting the bear market. Solely because of the Ichi on the weekly cloud stuff is very powerful. As you can see here, we touched the magnet, didn't touch it again till here, went up, didn't touch it again till here, went up. We are now touching the magnet right now. If you look at this chart, what does this tell you? Every time we've tapped the magnet or had like I'm just eyeballing it here, but I guess that's probably 20-30% correction each time. We've blasted up into the next leg up. So a little hopium there on that chart in regards to that. I was having this thought, and Kobayashi letter kind of also summed it up nicely. Since 2017, there's been 10 declines of 25% or more on Bitcoin, 6 declines of 50% or more, and 3 of 75% or more. Every single decline of the current magnitude since Bitcoin's inception has been followed by new record highs. So just doing some historic, historic checking back, some, running some numbers. I don't have all the answers, but I'm still not scared yet. Now, a lot could change in the next 2 or 3 weeks to make me say, all right, maybe we're in trouble, right? But right now, I am of the mind that minus the events of 10/10, I think things are kind of playing out. So, it looks like how they should. We were due a correction. It's, 25-30% correction. Like I said, every time we've hit it, we've eventually blasted up to new highs not long after. So
interesting. So I should flip my short to a long is what I'm hearing a little bit here. And it seems kind of right. So I'm going to do that right here live on stream on Spooky Swaps. Perp Dex. Yeah, referral code Koval. Okay, I'm terrible at this, dude. I can't even talk right.
Now, this is like I said, this is the weekly. So this is a much, these moves take a lot longer to play out on here. But
you pop the 30-minute up. That's what I trade.
The what? The 1 minute?
The 30. The 30.
Oh, this will look terrible on this chart.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's not gonna work. Yeah, never mind.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean that's a little bit of hopium there. Like I said, Kobayashi came with a little math on it. You know, I mean, look at the fear greed right now. I'd be curious to know. Maybe there's a way to like back check this, but I'd be curious to know. I don't know, when we tap extreme fear on the fear and greed, what typically happens right after. Maybe there's a way to check that somewhere. That would be interesting. But, you know, as they say, buy when everyone's fearful. I think everyone's probably taking that with a grain of salt right now. But, you know, it's like I said, I got some hopium. Looking at the daily on Ethereum, put you guys on a little game here. On things like 4-hour, daily, that kind of stuff, I actually like to do what's called like mean reversion. And kind of a similar idea in terms of on a mean reversion, it's basically just saying like at some point it's always going to revert to the center here. So we're not totally out of the band on Ethereum yet, which leads me to believe there's still hope for a reversion sooner than later. But yeah, I mean, in general, I feel like, you know, yeah, it's a big correction. And like anything else, there is like a lot of macro stuff that can be, there's some macro things coming that are, you know, I think going to help the market, but there's, you know, macro stuff right now that's still creating a lot of uncertainty. The tariffs, the tariff paybacks, what's going to happen there. Trump is still kind of front running any kind of bad decision, telling, you know, he said, I guess it was this morning or last night that he said the stimulus is happening mid 2026. Everybody's getting $2,000. Of course, this doesn't happen if they roll back tariffs. So, you know, like I said, it's a very uncertain time in terms of macro, but overall, I guess we'll pull up. Yeah, since we're talking about S here,
this is crazy. Or sorry, I didn't want to interrupt it, but on that Ethereum chart, like, dude, oh my god, the mean reversion is so brutal, dude. We could just be underneath that mean for a while, huh?
Could be. I mean, you know, like I said, there's hopium on Bitcoin, but as we've seen throughout most of this, you know, most of this run or whatever you want to call it, Bitcoin is going to do what Bitcoin does, and we are all but not guaranteed anything on Ethereum or alts, minus that Bitcoin has to be performing well for everything to even have a chance to perform well. So I got Sonic here. What I really hate to see on the Sonic chart is this right here. This is, you know, this is October 10th right here. What I hate to see is this really tight wind up, right? Where this was when everything is still going pretty well in the market. When I see consolidation or a wind up like this, it means that there's about to be a really violent move. And of course, that can be up or down. But I think with the current market conditions at the time, I think we were gearing up for consolidation with hopefully a leg up there. Even this kind of coming down would make me think, okay, like we're about to bounce. But once again, you know, 1010 has kind of like totally 1010 like has maybe like thrown the trajectory into like a rapid movement instead of like a slower. So I think it's kind of like we were due a correction, and you know, bodies are still floating up here and there from 1010. So
yeah, all that leverage being flushed out really crushed prices. It really kind of crushed those price floors, is what it seems like for an asset like us. Unless there's something else I'm missing here. Yeah, I mean, dude, we're just like skidding along this 12%, this 12-cent line. But
Yeah.
you know, at least it looks like the pain's kind of stopping here, kind of stalling out a little bit here at 12 cents, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we've already bounced off support once. Hopefully we're about to bounce off it again. Based on the reversion kind of stuff here, the deviations, I'm not even going to acknowledge this area right here. What we need is to start moving back. I've seen several people talk about this when talking about this chart. I mean, really, we need to be back to like 30 cents. But right now, most important thing is that we need to like reclaim 21 cents and stay above it.
Yeah. Now, I guess the question we got to ask ourselves is 1010 often resulted in decent sized recoveries. Usually not full and total recoveries, but decent sized recoveries. So we got to ask ourselves, like, why are we so anemic, dude? And I think Dr. DeFi nailed it. There's a lot of lack of volume and liquidity post 1010. So like what are we gonna do about it,
Yeah, I mean 1010 was definitely one of those kind of like take your ball home kind of deals. A lot of the alt L1s especially, a lot of volume and a lot of money's flown out. Obviously we've been talking about this on Sonic for a while, that the metrics have been slowly ebbing out. I think that I mean we got to find out how we're gonna revitalize DeFi on the chain and get butts back in the seats.
Yeah, we're turning a freaking Dogbone Village for real, dude. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this because this seems to be kind of like when we talk about, obviously something needs to change, right? Obviously direction needs to evolve here. If we want to reclaim price levels, we want to bring volume back, right? At the very least, I think most people will say like there needs to be some sort of incentive program, some sort of like initiative to try and incentivize builders to return to the network, investors to return something, someone pay for someone to arrive is basically it. But I think this is kind of a step in the right direction in that, I think of it as like this. There's like two components to it, right? Like you can have a good incentive program, but you want to have a strong token too, right? Otherwise, it doesn't really matter. So they're trying to strengthen the token here by increasing deflation mechanisms. So we talked a little bit about this briefly, but FEM is being revitalized to tiered rewards for builders ranging from 15 to 90% based on network usage. So there's a 10% allocation of validators that's fixed and the remainder is burned. So basically, from my understanding, from all transaction fees, 10% is always being sent to the validators, and whatever the difference is between what you're getting paid out in FEM and that 10% is burned. Now, what do you think about this, Drac?
I think it's a step in the right direction. I think that, it's a step in the right direction, but I think that something that still has to be heavily scrutinized and analyzed is the effectiveness of FEM in general. Because I mean, there's to get like the flywheel kind of going. It's like you have to like, there has to be stuff to do. So money comes in, money comes in, the token starts performing better, right? Like there's this whole like series of events that if they all feed into each other, you have good metrics and you have builders and you have, token value and, everything else. So the question really is right now is like, what is going to kickstart this flywheel again so that, you have a successful chain?
Yeah. I really quickly, I want to throw these up here because we're talking about like the numbers on FEM. I'm seeing some people say things like, when we're talking about like $600 worth of S being burned, it's not going to make a difference. I kind of agree here, and I agree with you. Me, I'm dramatic, dude. I like a big dramatic change. So this is maybe a little too measured and reasoned response for me. What I would prefer is, one, I'd want to know like, because it doesn't really seem like developers are jumping for joy or clamoring to get into FEM. So there has to be some other way to make this more appealing or something. Like, at least at this stage, if the flywheel is so weak, right? Like, if there's not enough volume, it doesn't matter. Like, if I'm getting a $10,
I mean, and that's kind of what I was getting at with like the flywheel stuff is I'm like, you know, if people don't want to come build, it really like, you know, how do you attract people to come build right now?
Yeah, like I think King Arthur's got the point here where it's not in its current form, it's not really a point of differentiation. Not to say it couldn't become one, but I don't see anyone migrating to take advantage. dApps just go multi-chain and take VM. And it's not really being used to incentivize user growth, which I think is like, which would make sense, right? Like, I guess like theoretically, the idea is like we're putting, I guess I think of it as almost like a tax credit. Like we're putting money back into your business's pocket so that you can like use it or whatever. But this is like kind of fundamentally different where it seems to me that like the fees on Sonic are so low anyway. It's like what do I want? Like a big tax return from like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example of a country that has like early low taxes. The Bahamas, like I get a big fat tax return from the Bahamas. It doesn't really matter to me. So I don't pay very many taxes anyway. So yeah, I would kind of like to see this being focused more towards just like either more towards the validators to make it more seem valuable to be a validator, or just destroy, like burn it all to drive price up. Or how about this, dude? I had this idea. I've talked to you about this before, Dracula. What if they make a VM NFTs, right? Or like a VM license, basically, and you have to bid for it, kind of like a liquor license or something, right? And so like you take whatever S they spent, say, on the bid, and let's say you burn that or give that to validators, do something useful with it, pay it out to users or something. And then they get to claim like VM, but only the people that have those have VM, because then it's like more of like a, if you really want it, you can get it.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's actually a pretty, I think like if we were in like full blown last run, like looking at like Phantom DeFi, it kind of just goes to the show once again, like, you know, the machine's got to get fired up first because, yeah, I think like if you're running a bunch of TXs and there's a lot of volume and liquidity, the protocols would absolutely bid on this and want, you know, a piece of it. So yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, and maybe that's the core question is, does VM for all by default help or hurt, you know, the chain in instances where there's like low volume? So
I kind of would be interested just to see like how many. I mean, like it's kind of hard to say because it's like everyone that's going to come here is probably going to say, yeah, like I like it, but like, is it really a differentiating factor? I think that's the kind of thing that Sonic needs to be concerning about, is this differentiating factors. And when we talked about it before, there's like a couple ways to do it, but it's like you either got to have like a unique knockout project, or you got to be doing some kind of crazy program to try and draw projects. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. I think they're cooking up some other stuff still here, but again, I still think it's a step in the right direction, but that's just because I don't particularly like VM very much.
Yeah, I think it's like, you know, like I said, it's definitely moving.
Well, here you go. Arca Finance says that that 90% of fees go back to the builders, and that's why they're building here. So that's at least one.
Yeah, Yankee here says, what do you think about the constant growth of USDC? See it being posted all the time, but not seeing any benefit for it on chain. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of talk about what's been happening with USDC on the chain. You know, I don't know. It's like, could builders find like something interesting to do, you know, related to stables? Like I think there's like a lot of room there to do some interesting things, especially with, you know, the new upgrades and everything, like account abstraction, everything else. but it's still like, then you still have like at the core of it, like someone needs to develop a way that also benefits S somehow, right? Like we're not, we don't run on USDC, so it's like, and I mean, somebody could do that for sure, right? I mean, there's definitely opportunities here on the chain in terms of building products right now, and that's a good thing in a way. I mean, if there would be a way to bring some momentum and some hype back, there's plenty of like primitives that are, not as fleshed out as they could be compared to other chains. If there could just be like some momentum in that regard, it could be, an exciting time for some builders, because there's just like a lot of things that people could do right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree. I think that like thinking about Sonic so far, it's like, to me, it seems like one of the big value props right now, and I think that they should lead into is it's kind of like it's got everything you need to build something and to like infrastructure wise, right? But there's kind of like a lot of opportunity here in terms of like if you just started building shit, you would be a top dog pretty quickly if it's decent. So it still gives you the opportunity. And that's kind of the thing I think a lot of people really liked about crypto and alts in general is it gives you the opportunity to be in the ground floor, right? But it's still going to require work. So, I think I would love to see some unique products being built in Sonic, especially because it's so cheap to launch here. You think that's who we should be getting at, dude. We need to be contacting like the real psychos and freaks out there building really weird shit. we gotta talk about building like bathtub brew stations and stuff.
Calling all the psychos and freaks.
Calling all psychos and freaks. dude, it's for you.
Calling all the psychos and freaks. VM.
Seeing USDC getting integrated in Cash App by Solana, dude. We should just ban fee. Wait, can I show you something real quick? Can I show you all something real quick? This is killing me, dude. This is killing me. I've had this entry price set at $93,035 for like 10 minutes, dude. And it's been trading below that for like it traded below it for a solid 5 minutes. I'm getting really furious here. This is how I feel. This background. I'm an angry bear right now.
Man, yeah. I mean, yeah, I said this, I think also in our chat or another chat where, yeah, I think we're just kind of like at an inflection point right now where I think it's like, to double down back on DeFi, there's just a lot of things that I think are going to have to happen. You could go more of like a route like you are seeing, and it's not necessarily the sexy route, but you've seen things like Hedera where, yeah, it's taken years and years for it to pay off, but their focus on like institutions over basically everything has, started to finally pay off. But that's a much longer, I think that's a longer, harder, not a very quick, satisfying fix or anything like that for anybody. But I feel like that's the inflection point we're at right now is, if Sonic is still the DeFi chain, then we gotta blow this thing up. We gotta get people back.
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta go balls to the wall. We gotta go straight casino psycho mode. Unless you're saying like we want to go stealth mode. I don't think we do. Dude. I mean, Yankee, you're right, dude. I mean, price is everything though. So it's again like a chicken and the egg situation.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because it's it's like I said earlier, it's like all these things moving again, kind of like in a flywheel, your price is also going to increase because people say, oh, there's value being created there. There's people going there. People want this. People want to build there. People want to use the chain. So yeah, it's like Corval said, it's very chicken and the egg because it's like, how do we get this? How do we get that started? Just getting the initial groundwork laid out to get that started again. And I've said this before several times too, where it's like the unfortunate part sometimes about crypto is that like you have to have like your, you know, your good business stuff and everything else and your architecture and how, you know, you're interacting with builders and users. You have to have all those like good solid foundation things. But in crypto, there's like this attention level that might at this point be like 50% of your business. At least 30-40%, right? Which is like when you lose attention on the timeline and everything else, it's like a uphill battle to get it back.
Yeah.
And that's why I think like if we are in a situation where we're going to double down on DeFi, yeah, I mean it's going to take some like grand moves to kickstart that and to get back in the minds of people. And yeah, I mean like Billy, DeFi minimalist, used to be maximalist, says win FT. I mean, yeah, I mean Flying Tulip could still be a great way to, you know, Flying Tulip comes out, you also roll out a couple other things that are attractive to builders or users around Flying Tulip. That's a pretty, you know, that'd be a pretty nice way to like get the name back out there and get people like bridging again and checking it out.
I agree. It's like a very big public launch. It's the closest thing we've got to like a stunt, basically. It feels like labs could really benefit from like a stunt right now. But they kind of also need something to stick the stunt, like something for it to land onto. Flying Tulip would be like it's like perfect for that because it's so public. Andre's got such a flamboyant personality when he shows it. Again, be sure to tag him, please, in the comments and the replies. Tell him he's got to come on the show. But I don't necessarily agree with DeFi minimalists that Flying Tulip is our last hope. I think that kind of thinking will make it your last hope. But I would hope that the labs team is not so myopic in their view that they could do something else. They've got other options in their deck of cards. Pinning it all on one person is super risky, basically. So
for sure,
you know, hopefully Andre comes on and you know what, maybe he'll come on and he'll convert me fully into a full-on Andre cultist, dude. When we talk, maybe I'll be like, actually, he is the only hope for all of crypto. But I don't know.
Blessed has a long one here, but I like it. He says, you know, when microcaps were pumping at the end of 2024, you know, through like February 2025, we had new people hopping in, telegrams were buzzing. I just bridged from so-and-so. Where do I buy? You know, big volume every day. Yeah, I mean, I remember that time too. I mean, that's when you know that, you know, things are moving in the right direction. Would be like, you know, lots of Telegram groups, you know, people saying, hey, like I literally only use Phantom Wallet in Solana. Like, how do I even, you know, how do I get funds here? Like, a good sign for sure. Speaking of Solana, Jimmy says win or on Sonic. Don't front run me, bro. Delete this comment. Delete it. Yeah, or is sick, man. I love it.
Everyone's trying to make forward.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not an enviable position. It's not an easy position. You know, these things are ongoing every day with the team, you know. Yeah. Next moves, you know, probably have to start leaning into some big moves here. I know everybody's saying green candles, but of course everyone loves the green candles, and that would be wonderful as well. But you know, just also trying to think, you know, like what Corval said earlier, like, you know, let's say there is something taken out of whatever and used to like pump the eco or pump S or whatever, you still have to have something to land on. Like even like incentive programs, I used like Linnea as an example. They ran a really good eco incentive program. You know, it pumped the chain, you know, that chain had kind of already gone through their attention moment. Their incentive program pumped the chain back up into like, you know, top 15, whatever territory. Everybody was bridging, everything's going well. And then when the campaign was over, it's just kind of back to business as usual. So it's like before you can even do something like paint the chart, you know, there has to be like there has to be like 3 or 4 other things kind of happening at the same time so that like there's some kind of sticky effect or somewhere to land after this happens.
Yeah, I mean, like it's interesting because when we talk about painting the chart, like this phenomenon of painting the chart, like its entire purpose is to deceive people into participating in a system that does not actually have that amount of volume in it. Like that's when we say painting the ticker, painting the chart. Like historically, that's what that means, right? So like if we were to do that and there is no underlying like actual value, then it's just going to collapse under like a house of cards. Like
And then it's like your effort has been made for basically nothing. So that's why, like I was kind of talking about, like, flying tulip launch or rollout would be maybe like a good time to try to experiment with some of these things.
Oh yeah, that's when I'm like kicking buybacks that might be pretty good, right? There's no value on XRP, ADA, and many others. Crime season on S. Yeah, I mean, I think those were kind of blessed by some specific massive investments early on, right? Isn't that kind of the thing with XRP, dude, fucking random people I still talk to, random old heads that don't know literally nothing about crypto whatsoever, still love XRP.
Yeah. I mean, XRP, ADA, Zcash, all these things that eventually have had like more violent moves. It's because you have people that have been sitting on those bags forever. Yeah, what is this saying right here? Let's see.
So,
whoa.
Yeah, imagine holding on to some crazy Cardano dream after not selling $45 million. Watching your money slowly disappear for years. You're finally ready to give up and change your life with $7 million. You get yourself to push the button, and it's all gone. This guy swapped 14.4 million ADA, valued at $6.9 million, for 847,000 USDA, the Cardano stable peg to USD 2 hours ago, and lost 6.05 million due to low liquidity. That is crazy, dude. This is a stable coin that it pumped to like $125.
Oh my god, dude. So he got like less than $1 million out of what should have been like $7 million.
Yeah, which at the start was 45 million. So he turned 45 million into $847,000 over the course of years.
And I'm guessing this is because he tried to swap it on chain or whatever, right? I mean, I mean, oh my god, dude. I mean, you could have just sent it to Coinbase or Binance or whatever.
It was because he was a freaking Cardano believer, bro. He swapped to their stable, bro. Frightening stuff.
That's very that like makes me sick. That's like upsetting.
Yeah. So be careful out there, guys. It could always be worse. Now, I also want to talk about SETI here. SETI, one of my new favorite builders on the network. He's been on the show, young guy. He was talking about some nerd stuff I didn't quite understand, but I looked into it a little bit after. It's quite interesting. A lot of this talk lately about the quantum computing stuff in Bitcoin. You heard about this, Drac?
Some of it, how quantum computing would like eventually there are like versions of early Bitcoin wallets where quantum computing would like theoretically be able to crack them pretty early. They've been moving people out of that old system for like years now, but I'm sure there's still some whales that have Bitcoin sitting in one of these old wallets. I don't know if that's what this is about, but yeah, I've seen a good bit about quantum computing in terms of Bitcoin.
Yeah, this is like a component of that conversation. This guy, Scott Aronson, was claiming that it's likely that, they can crack Bitcoin encryption before the next presidential election in the U.S. But SETI points out something quite interesting where he says RSA, which is, I'm assuming, a different kind of like encryption method, holds more value than a elliptic curve considering the size of banks and governments versus crypto market. They should be more worried than us, which is, I think, something that we often do forget about when we talk about like if Bitcoin, if Bitcoin's encryption is cracked, that means like for at least like a while, the encryption on all of your bank accounts, all of your passwords, everything has been cracked by this point.
Yeah.
And like not just yours, but like if they can crack Bitcoin encryption, they could crack like, I don't know, the presidential encryption or some shit. Like JP Morgan's encryption. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think like, end of the day, I imagine like anything else, like just some real unk talk here. Kind of like when you were going into like the year 2000 from 1999 and everybody said that, nobody knew what was going to happen for sure. Like the world might shut down or we might just be fine, and people prepared for it and it was fine. I imagine something similar of real quantum computing where there's no way that there's not going to be like people rolling out fixes or preventative thing before it gets to a point where like you would think there's no preventative measures if like 1,000, 2,000 people have access to like get this information. I doubt it. So it is kind of like I don't know. I think it's like a little bit of like just like a scary boogeyman kind of things. I mean, same thing with AI, like 3-4 years ago with AI, it was like, we're not going to have jobs in 3 years. And, we're going to be in a dystopian hellscape, which, I guess we kind of are, but it's not because of AI. So.
Yeah, I think like you're right. The Y2K thing makes a lot of sense. Do you remember where you were on Y2K? What you're doing?
I was very like, nothing's going to happen. So I think I was just like, I mean, I was still in school at that point. So yeah, I was just very like, whatever. Like, it's gonna be fine.
I was a real,
but there were people that had like, there were people that had like fucking bunkers built and, there was like, because of the year 2000, there was also like a lot of like revelation cult stuff happening all over the planet. So there were people that were saying like, it's all tied together and we're all going to die and whatever. Or it was like just the Y2K thing itself is going to like, wipe out all our electronic systems or whatever. So like, yeah, I mean, it was a crazy time. There was a lot of people definitely like, yeah, like I've built like a bomb bunker or I've built a whatever, or I'm, hoarding food or.
Yeah. Like I just remember for Y2K, I was like too little to like really understand like what they were saying was going to happen. Cause I was like, it just didn't make sense to me. I was like, wait, like, so like, are the computers going to like fucking kill everybody? Like, what is the problem? Cause like trying to explain it to like a 8-year-old or whatever, I was just like, what do you like? Okay. So like the computer, like the cars are just gonna start running us over. The trains are gonna like blow up. Like what's happening? And there's like, no, it's a computer problem. But to Elapse asks, why don't we have bio access wallets like fingerprints and face scan? Would that be uncrackable? I don't think so. I had a friend tell me a story. I think you might have been there, Drac, about like getting robbed in Mexico, where like they took his phone and just just shoved like his face on the camera and like opened it. And we're like going through his shit. Like anytime they needed to open it, they just would like grab his fingerprint, and just like shove it on the glass. Like it doesn't even matter. Oh, we were others DD back at pre-1010 levels. That means what? High?
Well, I actually I had that pulled up to share today, just because I was curious. I mean, it's I'd say it's better. I mean, it's we were at 65 in the summer, 60. I mean, we're back at 59%, which based on traditional alt season, we're still nowhere near dominance, but as we've said many times, I don't think we're ever going to have a situation where Bitcoin is like 40% dominance or something. I mean, I think like mathematically it might even be impossible with how much Bitcoin is black holed now. But yeah, I mean, kind of feels like getting into the upper 50s at least kind of opens it up a little bit to, alts having a better time, alts running more. So, yeah.
A little bit. Damn. Yeah, it's dang, Zorg says it's pointless. So let's pull up ETH, dude. Drop Bitcoin out of this thing. Let's see what ETH dominance looks like.
Whoa. Oh, yeah. It just like killed my chart.
It does not even exist, dude.
Wait, hold on. What's this? Solana, others. Give me something here, guys. Come on. All right, there we go.
It's all like, yeah. I mean, Well, either way.
There we go. That pulled it up. I mean, yeah, I mean, I could probably agree with Zorg some that if we're thinking that the way the previous runs have worked will not like apply because of things like ETFs and everything, then yeah, I mean, dominance is probably not as important of an indicator as it was in like previous cycles.
Hey, listen here, guy. It's important.
It's important.
That's funny. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think another thing, you know, we're gonna wrap up here, but you know, still a very nascent industry, right? I mean, it feels like we've been in it for a long time just because of the emotional fluctuations are really strong, but like a couple years. So, you know, things like Bitcoin dominance and stuff, you always got to take them with a little bit of grain of salt, right? Because there's just not enough historical record to really draw on. But we'll see, dude. Something's going to change soon. Something's going to change soon. I can tell you it's going to be on us, and it's going to be for the best.
Well, yeah, I think that's all we really got today. Just wanted to wrap a little bit. We'll be back Friday. It might just be me Friday, so we might have a guest Friday. Corvo might be busy that day. But yeah, we'll see you guys later this week. Thanks for hanging out. Of course, jump in the GMSONIC Telegram group. Constant war, constant knowledge. Get forged into steel in there. So yeah, join us on Telegram, and yeah, be sure to like, subscribe, all that stuff, and we'll see you guys Friday.
Amen, brother. Catch you then.
GMSONIC is Corvo and Dracula Presley. GM.